What is going on, collectors? Optical 20 back for another video. Today we're going to do a comparison between the two Daredevils that I have. I know a lot of people are maybe thinking about picking up the new Daredevil from She-Hulk, or maybe not because it's from She-Hulk, or maybe get the older Daredevil, or the other option is wait for Daredevil Born Again, although that's like 3 years in the making. I don't even know. I think next year, Born Again is going to come out, and then the figure another year and a half or two. So we're talking about maybe a minimum of 2 years here. So let's talk about these two figures right here. So before we jump in, we're going to compare the accessories. You got only few hands for the older Daredevil, but the gloves is significantly different from the She-Hulk version. It does have that, I don't know, that knuckle thing on his hand, and the glove itself has different textures from the inside compared to the She-Hulk Daredevil, where it does have this, I don't know, kind of like shield, and in the inner area it's just kind of, just regular glove, maybe like a leather glove that has stitches on it. I would give the nod here to the older Daredevil. However, they do lack hands. And now for the Billy Club, so the same type. The color is a bit different. So the one on the left is going to be the older one, the Netflix version, and he does have this where it doesn't have the wire. It's just, it's connected. Looks nice, but it's going to flop away. But they learned their mistakes, and they gave us this nice wired version. So you could post it around, if you're posting him fighting someone and whatnot. So that is possible now. So that's a good option right there. The base, you got the regular She-Hulk, this base that we've seen before, and an image there. That's New York. I'm assuming. I can't see from that angle, but it says She-Hulk Attorney at Law. You might not want to get this, but easily this base from the Netflix version is a lot better. You even have this topper where it's just debris and shattered glasses and all that stuff. It looks beautiful. And then you have this riser, I suppose, that you put him in, so it does rise up. And you even have this, like from the streets and all that. And then you got the Daredevil, which is nicely done as well. You got pavement that is kind of wet. Easily we'll go with Netflix Daredevil here. As far as the base is concerned. And now head sculpt. Well, sort of. You have two face plates from the Netflix version, the regular version, and the battle damage version, which I actually do love, and surprised that this was not included in the She-Hulk version. However, what's included is this unmasked head sculpt, which is pretty nice, of the actor Charlie Cox playing as Daredevil, and that's beautiful right there. And now we're going to compare the tailoring. Both of them are kind of similar, but really different as well. You can see the knee pads. The material used on the Netflix Daredevil is it's more of a, I don't know how to describe it really, but it feels more sturdy, yet you could still pose it around. It doesn't hinder any articulation, at least from my experience. Raising the hands and all that stuff, I never had any issues. The She-Hulk Daredevil feels like a Spider-Man type of material, so it's easily bendable, but you can see the biggest thing here is the proportion. He looks like he ate a lot of burger in the She-Hulk version. There's paddings and there's just no waist. And even the arms are a bit flabby. If you look at them, even the legs, everything else, height is the same, but it just doesn't have that, tapered look to his waist. You can see the thigh area there. The outfit is loose, and it gives you more articulation having that way. But with that being said, you sacrifice the look. And also, I would say the Netflix version doesn't have any issues with articulation himself. So I'm not sure why they went this route if they created a solution for something that's not even a problem. And I wish they would have just, if they wanted to change the material, fine, but keep the proportion there. But honestly, there's also nothing wrong with the material of the Netflix Daredevil. It actually feels more premium, with the layers of fabric. Now, even the head sculpt. Now, this is two different years now between the Netflix version and the She-Hulk version. They both look great. This one looks like him now, while the Netflix version looks like him, a few years back. Now, side profile here, depending on the color that you want, obviously, I don't know, it just feels to me that the Netflix version is material-wise the way it was made. There's different layers because the top part of this mask, you could remove it. So the separation between the black area, which is, maybe they're pretending that it's leather or fabric or whatever, there's clear separation between the two compared to the She-Hulk version, that you could not remove the upper mask version, the yellow part. And it's also not as shiny, but it does have, some weathering in there. Maybe it's not supposed to be shiny, but there's just, I don't know, it just feels premium for the Netflix. I know it's weird to say because this is older, but it just feels nicer. Like it feels like a Hot Toys figure. Now, as far as the head sculpt, I would give the nod here to the Netflix, the She-Hulk version. It looks nice. That expression where the teeth is showing is not flattering. However, it looks nice. What the Netflix offers, though, is that you could remove this part, like I mentioned earlier, remove the faceplate, kind of like Batman, if you ever had one, and insert this. It's pretty easy. And now you have a battle damage version of that Daredevil, which is also nice, especially if you have, Punisher or maybe Kingpin who could, potentially fight in a scene on your display. This looks really good. Now, this one doesn't look bad himself. As a matter of fact, I wanted to use this head sculpt on a suited body, so I don't have to either keep him in this. How many times have you seen Daredevil unmasked anyway? So I mean, it's good in theory, but I don't know if that's something that I want to do. And I know if you both you have this version like myself, you're probably wondering if you could insert the unmasked version to the older Daredevil. If you were thinking of picking up the She-Hulk version, and the answer is yes. It looks a bit weird because you put it down and the collar, it looks like he has short and neck. It still works. Maybe just a blue tack. Maybe you can elevate it some sort. It works, and I really don't have any problems with his head sculpt outside of that teeth showing. But I can live with that. But I don't know. It just doesn't feel or look right. Yeah, if you get what I mean here. I don't know. Maybe the shoulders are a bit high. The neck, the collar, the traps area. When you make him look down, it is a little better. But going on some display options between the two, you could certainly display both of them because they're two different figures, two different suits, different colorways. I'm a Daredevil fan, so this works for me. I love the way they look together. Could you get away with one? Sure you could. Yes, absolutely you could. But having them, like I mentioned before, I have like 8 Spider-Mans. What's 2 Daredevils, right? I mean, unless you're, kind of tight on the budget, I see what, could be cut in there. But also display-wise, if you have Punisher, which I hope we get a newer version on, I think he's in there. I haven't seen a whole lot of trailer or previews of the new Daredevil show on Disney Plus. We need an update. We need a purse, maybe more bloodied Punisher. It's always not a given, though, because Punisher had his own show, which was, pretty well received, and he never had one. So, let's pump our brakes, hoping, thinking that, hey, there's going to be new Punisher out there. It's not a given. And Speaking of display options, you can display him with So Kingpin, which is, I would say, the best third-party head sculpt that I've ever seen. I love this head sculpt by Kingpin, and obviously he's bigger, but you could display him both, within the two. Man, the Netflix Daredevil just really have this presence, especially you put in the bloodied version. Now that I'm looking at this, him looking down, he just looks badass. The She-Hulk version still pretty cool, still pretty cool. So final thoughts on this one. If you could afford both, get both. If you the better figure is the Netflix version, hands down. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. Better colorway, better proportions. I would think that the head sculpt is better too. Now that I'm thinking about it now, I would rather have the alternate face sculpt than the unmasked one. But if you can swing both, do both. Now, depending on the price for the Netflix Daredevil on the aftermarket, back then it was like $400. I think it calmed down, going down to $300. So that's not too bad. However, you are buying a 6-7-year-old figure that on different countries, it's kind of pleather-ish, that it might start peeling. So with that being said, and also the potential release of Born Again Daredevil would make me go say, even though the Netflix version is the better version, I would go, if you can find it for retail or lower, the She-Hulk version. Just because of the impending release of Born Again. I know I said that on Punisher, but I think it's pretty safe to say that if we don't get Punisher, which is, maybe, I hope not, I think it's safe to say we are going to at least get Daredevil. Now you're going to have to wait. But in the meantime, if you can get, the She-Hulk version for retail, or maybe $250 or less, I think that would kind of satisfy the need if you are as big of a Daredevil fan as I am. But both figures, I would say, is still pretty good. But thank you for watching. Like this channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.